welcome back to American Sunrise. I'm Dr. Gina. Thanks for joining us this morning. We invite you to hop in our conversation on YouTube. Get in there on YouTube with us. Have you guys been in there? So user-friendly, so easy. Gives you a lot more characters to write with. And Colin gets in there from the control room, and he's given his whole paycheck in there. It's lots of fun. You can get in with us on Getter and Rumble as well. Time now to take the political pulse of America. The beat today, President Trump announcing what he's calling a major breakthrough in the Israel-Hamas war. Both sides have agreed to the first phase of a peace deal, a plan that includes the release of all hostages and an Israeli troop withdrawal to an agreed line. Trump says this marks the first steps toward strong, durable, and everlasting peace, calling it a great day for Israel, the Arab world, and the United States. Hamas also confirmed the agreement, praising what they called responsible and serious negotiations, urging all parties, including the U.S., to ensure Israel follows through. Joining us now with the latest is RAV Chief White House correspondent Brian Glynn. Brian, obviously he's going to take a massive victory lap. This is something I don't think there's any other president, if had anyone else been elected, a Republican or a Democrat, that could have pulled this off. But how big of a victory is this long term?
This is huge. I think we're going to look at this 10 years from now and reflect on where we were, even when Marco Rubio handed that note to President Trump during that Antifa Roundtable. When that happened, we knew something big was about to be announced. That was a special moment. We all kind of sensed that in the press. And as we speak, they are figuring out the exact timing of that trip over to the Middle East to pretty much write in all of that. We should know all of that here shortly, but it's a huge moment. I think 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and I'm telling you one thing, if he does not get the Nobel Peace Prize for this, we might as well just do away with that prize, because there's no one that's more deserving than the Nobel Peace Prize than President Trump.
Well, there's no doubt about that. We could ask you a lot more questions about Israel and that victory lap, but let me move on. You mentioned the Antifa Roundtable. So let's talk about this. President Trump obviously hosted that roundtable regarding Antifa, and you had a lot of conservative influencers there. They were in the room. They have covered, they've seen firsthand the damage and violence that Antifa is responsible for. So at one point, we saw a podcast influencer openly admit, I love this part, to having TDS, that Trump derangement syndrome, but now she's recovering. She doesn't have it anymore. She's seen the light, and then she called out the media over their non-existent coverage, or I should say lack thereof coverage of
I'm living proof that you can recover from TDS. I had strong Trump derangement syndrome for probably 8 years. This is one of the reasons I recovered from it. And by the way, it's much better to not have TDS. I'm happier, I'm healthier, more successful. I even think I got a little more attractive after I got rid of my Trump derangement syndrome. Yes. You know, I'm a reporter in Seattle, and frankly, I could not care any less what any of you have to say about this meeting. Could not care any less. We're not here for you. I'm not here to convince any of you that Antifa is a real thing, because if you have not come to that conclusion by now, you are never going to come to that conclusion, because you don't want to see it. And you're going to go and you're going to say it's a bunch of right-wing conservative influencers who are here spinning a tale. I was one of you. I was a mainstream reporter in Seattle for 10 years. I was a TV reporter on the streets doing my job, and I was still assaulted by Antifa. So it's not about being conservative. It's about people who go there and show what they're doing. And when I saw, after all those years, that the media wouldn't be honest about what was happening, that Democratic politicians wouldn't be honest about what was happening, I thought, well, gosh, if they're not being honest about that, maybe they're not being honest about President Trump either. And it opened my mind to just looking at things for what they were. And now I find you quite funny, actually. Now it's like I said, I'm much happier.
Brian, powerful, great stuff.
Yeah. And she wasn't alone on that. There were a couple others that addressed the media. I call it dressed down the media during that roundtable. And what was interesting is as I was leaving the White House yesterday, one of the influencers was walking out of the EOB building, and he had a mask on, sunglasses, appearing to basically conceal his identity. And he later told me, Antifa has been trying to kill me for years, and I just can't take that risk walking out of the White House knowing that they know I'm here. So the severity of this situation, as far as, I mean, that was a very disturbing thing for him to say. And of course, these young men and women that were in there, they're very brave. Our own Jack Posobiec was there, Nick Sorter, just other Savannah Hernandez are there as well, doing great work. I'm glad they were praised by the president. They have been exposing Antifa, and I'm glad that Real America's Voice. Now I'm going to put our flag in the ground for a second, because we have been on Antifa since the beginning of this network. We've had people contribute to this, to Ben Burkholm talking about it. So I'm very proud to say that we weren't one of the media that those influencers were calling out.
Absolutely. Brian, you used the word disturbing. Another thing that's disturbing is these new released documents that show the FBI secretly spied on the phone records of 8 Republican senators and a House lawmaker. All of this was, of course, part of Special Counsel Jack Smith's Arctic Frost investigation into January 6th. President Trump now calling Jack Smith, and this is a quote, a real sleazebag. I'll just leave it there and let you take it, Brian.
Well, you know, he obviously is I would say that was correct. He is a sleazebag, but he's also sneaky as hell, because they knew exactly what they were doing. And I'm only wondering who else was on this list. That's just what we've discovered right now. What were they looking for? The phone records. We know that they tracked hundreds, if not thousands, of pinged some phone numbers that are in around the Capitol during January 6th. People that might have just been walking by with their family with no intentions of even going near the Capitol. Those people were investigated as well. So I think it's just to say that he is a sleazebag. And hopefully we can have some accountability for that, because I know there's so many people that have been involved in this roundup, if you will. And that's exactly what it is. It's a drag net to try to find as many people that they can find guilty of some type of election interference. And by the way, this was all taking place under a constitutional ability to do that, to certify the election. That's what this was all about. They weren't doing anything outside their power. But sleazebag, that might be the right word.
Brian, I'm hearing a lot about what's happening at the airports right now. One of our own chatters in our chat that everybody knows very well, Jengus, he had a flight go crazy, spent the whole morning at the airport, extremely frustrating. All because, in my mind, I think there's a lot of motive for them to, they're calling in sick, they're disrupting flights, they're doing the things because they're union government employees who are trying to make a big deal out of the shutdown. But the great thing about this shutdown, the Schumer shutdown, I should say, the great thing about every shutdown is that it very much exposes what could be privatized and handled better. So I was going to ask it, Brian. I'm going to come back to this question. Has President Trump made a comment yet on privatizing the TSA? It's time, and this Schumer shutdown proves it.
Okay. That will be my question today in the cabinet meeting, which, by the way, starts at 11 a.m. I promise you, I will ask that question, and it's a great something to think about, because I know that DCA was experiencing extreme delays yesterday. I can only imagine it is today. But great question. TSA, can it be privatized, make it more efficient? Even the air traffic controller situation, people calling in sick on that. They're already shorthanded in that department anyway.
Yes.
Great question. We'll hear about that a little bit at 11 o'clock this morning.
And the unions, don't forget, give more than 90% of their money, these public sector unions, more than 90% of their money goes straight into Democrat coffers. So it's no wonder that they invade our privacy and do all the disgusting things they do every single time we go through the airports. And my next trip through the airport is going to be really bad now.
Brian, Brian, he's going
plan
to
for that
call
extra
on you,
pat down, Dr. Gina. You're going to get that extra pat down. Yeah.
And he's going to call on you in this cabinet meeting. He loves your reporting.
He does.
So there's that. And by the way, speaking of the cabinet meeting, what was last time? 3 hours and some odd minutes. Do you have a chair? Are you going to bring one of those folding chairs? Because listen, I would literally pass out.
Oh yeah.
Literally, I'd pass.
Yeah. Well, I've got the most comfortable shoes that I own intentionally for this event. So I'm just going to keep bending my knee bends here. You get get your flexibility going, get your circulation going in your legs. It could go 3 hours, which, by the way, I will say this. The question I had for President Trump yesterday was about the city of Austin that was basically waiving the fees for a No Kings anti-Trump rally in Austin coming up. So basically putting the fees on the taxpayers of the city of Austin. Since that interview, since that segment, moments later, the city of Austin took down that agenda that was supposed to be voted on today because of pressure, not only from people and patriots that live in Austin, but from the comments from the White House. So we are truly making a difference when it comes to making sure that we do not fund these radical groups. It happened yesterday in the state room. Great moment there.
Imagine if
I just want to see your shoes, by the way. But anyhow, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, imagine
By the
if
way,
the TSA were privatized.
down.
All of our lives would be easier.
Show the shoes real
Show
quick.
the shoes.
Hang on a
Let's see
second.
Can we see the
These
shoes?
These are Murphy and Johnson shoes. Murphy and
Kyle
Johnson, which, by the way, if they want to send me a pair of shoes, we can do that. But those are the most comfortable shoes I have because, last time it was 3 hours. And God bless people who have to hold the microphone booms for 3.5 hours, too. That's going to be one heck of a shoulder press.
That I can't even imagine.
There you go.
All right, a little tap dance.
Suit provided by Nordstrom's, by the way.
Yeah, that's very nice. Nicely done, sir. Nicely done.
All right, Brian, good luck standing through all that. I hope you get the question in. I really want the answer, especially right now. I think this is a great time to have this discussion because I think the American public is really, really ready for it. Brian, thanks again.
Done.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
You're the best.
Done. Thank you.
All right, coming up, what you should really be looking for in health supplements. After the break, we're going to have the details on how you can guarantee better health. Your doctor will even notice. Imagine that. That's next. Stay with us.